What if I told you the absolute best way to launch a startup is to get paid first? Yeah, today we're going to break down a strategy that pulled in $20,000 in cash before a single line of code was even written. So just imagine this for a second. You want to jump into a brand new industry, something you know next to nothing about, and build a business that's making $30,000 a month. I mean, it sounds kind of impossible, right? But what if you could do all that and get a cool $20,000 in the bank before you've even built the thing? Well, that's not some crazy hypothetical. It's exactly what happened in the story we're looking at today. So let me introduce you to Gil. He's the founder of Subscriber, which is an AI script writing tool for YouTube creators. He's a developer who basically took the traditional startup model and just flipped it completely on its head. And the results? Well, they really speak for themselves. His app, Subscriber, is now pulling in around $30,000 a month in subscriptions. And look, this isn't some lucky break. It's the result of a very specific, very counterintuitive strategy. So what is this big secret? It's a philosophy that honestly goes against almost everything you hear about building a company. You sell it first, and then you build it later. Let's dig into why this is so incredibly powerful. And this quote from Gil pretty much says it all. His entire strategy is built on this one idea. He believes that the only real, true form of validation isn't someone's opinion or a like. Nope, it's their credit card. Think about that standard advice that everyone gives you. Go talk to your users. Gil actually argues that's dangerous. People will be nice. They'll tell you your idea's amazing. They'll say, oh yeah, I'd totally pay for that. But all that does is create this false sense of security, and it leads you to spend months building something that nobody will actually pay for. Now, I love the analogy Gil uses here. He says you have to sell a painkiller, not a vitamin. See, a vitamin is just a nice to have. It's a good idea, but it's not essential. A painkiller, on the other hand, solves an urgent, burning problem that people will pay almost anything to make go away. And this whole pre-sale method, it's the ultimate test to find out if you've actually got a painkiller on your hands. Okay, so that's the why, but how do you actually do this? Well, Gil laid out his entire playbook. It's a super clear 4-step process that really anyone can follow to validate their own idea. Let's get into the specifics. So here's the roadmap. Step 1, you've got to build an audience, create some trust. Then, step 2, you deepen that relationship with a personal email list. Step 3, and this is crucial, before you sell anything, you do the math to set a clear financial goal. And only then, step 4, do you launch the pre-sale to that warm, engaged audience. Now, that pre-sale launch itself has to be treated like a huge event. Gil's method involves this aggressive 7-day email campaign where you're not just listing features. That's boring. You're selling a transformation. You get emotional, you build hype, you create a ton of urgency with a hard deadline, and then on launch day, you are everywhere, promoting it on email, on social media, everywhere. Of course, none of this works if you don't have an offer that people just can't refuse. The way you structure the deal is just as important as the product idea itself. It's all about psychology. So Gil didn't just sell a product, he sold an exclusive opportunity. He offered exactly 50 lifetime licenses. And that number is so important. It's small enough to create real scarcity and make those first buyers feel like they're part of an exclusive club, getting in on the ground floor of something big. And he structured this offer in 3 absolutely brilliant ways. First, FOMO pricing. The first 10 spots were a total steal, and the price went up after every 10 sold. Second, risk reversal. A firm promised to deliver the full product in 60 days. And third, the ultimate guarantee. A full refund, no questions asked, even for 2 weeks after they got the final product. See, he took on all the risk, making it a super easy yes for his customers. All right, this strategy is genius, but let's look at the business it actually created. Let's get into the hard numbers behind Subscriber today, about 18 months after that first pre-sale. It's a classic SaaS subscription model with plans ranging from about $49 to $300 a month. He's now got over 4,000 customers. And a huge part of his growth, get this, comes from something called programmatic SEO. That's basically automatically creating hundreds of super targeted pages, which brings him over 30,000 views a month just from Google. And what about costs? Well, he's spending around $7,000 a month to run the whole show. The biggest chunk, about half of that, goes to AI compute costs. Another $2,000 on ads, and the rest on things like hosting. So you can see he's got some really healthy profit margins. And for all you tech folks out there, the philosophy is simple. The app is built using Laravel, which is a really popular web framework, and it's hosted on a straightforward cloud provider called DigitalOcean. The main takeaway here is that he didn't overcomplicate anything. He kept the setup clean and manageable without a ton of different services. So finally, after living in both the VC-backed world and having this incredible bootstrap success, Gil has basically boiled down his entire experience into 2 core rules for anyone who's building their own thing. Rule number 1, and we've covered this, but it's so important: do not get emotionally attached to an unproven idea. Get paid first. And rule number 2 is for after you launch. As a bootstrapper, profit is your oxygen. It's more important than just chasing growth at all costs. And I love this. When he was asked what's more fun, having done both, getting venture capital or bootstrapping, his answer was immediate. It was clear. Bootstrapping for sure. I think that says everything about the freedom and fulfillment you get from this model. So, to wrap this all up, here are the key lessons. First, real validation comes from payments, not praise. Second, follow that 4-step playbook: audience, list, math, presale. Third, make your offer irresistible by taking on all the risk yourself. And finally, focus on profit to build a business that can actually last. And that leaves us with one final thought. Forget about just brainstorming ideas. The real question is, what urgent, painful problem can you solve, and what painkiller idea could you actually start pre-selling this week?